Hi guys, yet another requested video, something again that I've never done before. Had a user ask if I could show how to make a cube twist, or a Rubik's twist as it's sometimes known. He sent me to a forging forum which I had to join, which I don't generally do forums, but I had to join so I could see the pictures and the description of how to make it. Which once I joined were actually very clear and very simple. It's not particularly difficult, a little bit time consuming. But anyway, we're going to start off with a bit of inch bar, ordinary mild steel, about 7.5 inches long, and that's what we're going to make it out of. So the first thing I want to do is use this bolster to just mark down each side where I'm going to cut with my hot set. Now I'm going to use the bolster because it just makes life easier to see what you're doing. You could use punch marks. Got a good pair of tongs, and what I'm also going to use is this, the hold down, which I made in one of my earlier videos, which some of you may have seen. I'm going to give it a go and see if it's any good. Perfect job for it. Alright, so we've got it warm, just in the middle, or sort of the area that I want to mark, because I'm going to leave each end probably about 3/4 of an inch, maybe an inch at each end, uncut. You just want to take your time, make sure it's in the middle, because obviously the more accurately you can get this down the middle, the nicer it's going to look when it's done. As I say, you could use punch marks, just put a punch mark either end and sort of guess it when you cut it, but I like to see what I'm up to. Takes a bit longer, but you know, makes a better job in the end. Clean off the slag. You can see the hold down is working actually quite well. I've never used one before, but it's definitely working. Chalk that one up to a yes. Right, so you can see I'm sort of defining the ends there. Well, I'm just putting the corner of the bolster in rather than the whole thing, just to define where the ends are going to be. Right, so that's the first two sides. You can see there's a nice line there. So once you've got it hot, you're not going to be struggling to see it. Because one thing the video did, or the website did say in the description, is that the grooves need to be very deep and quite wide. You'll see why later on, but you're going to need to put a lot of work in this. It's quite a time-consuming video, or no, time-consuming job, which I'm going to show on the video. I will cut some of it out because it is quite laborious. Yeah, the hold down's working well. One more side. Again, even once this has gone sort of black, there is still probably enough heat there. You know, if you want to carry on, put a bit of a mark in. You don't have to have it red all the time. You can see it's almost gone black there, but you could still do a couple more if you wanted to. So there you go. We've got all four sides nicely marked up, and we've got, let's say, about an inch at each end unmarked. Now I'm going to use this hot set. I'm going to run it down the sides to give a nice wide open groove. And doing that actually does throw up its own problems, but we'll get to them as we come to them. Bigger hammer, because I'm going to need to give it a bit doing this bit. Clean the anvil, otherwise all that scale gets forged back into the metal and makes a nasty texture on the surface. Let's try the hole down again. See, that goes in pretty easy. Right, now you can see that you could probably just see that the marks are quite visible that we put in earlier. I'm just taking it steady to start with the hot set. Once you've got a decent groove in there, you can really sort of go at it. You can hammer it and drag it, hammer it and drag it. But to start with, to get your initial groove in there. Now you can see that's bent there. I don't quite know why. We might end up doing this without the hold down. I think that's what's causing it. But anyway, we're going to run down all the other sides. So take your time. There's no rush, but the more accurately you get it, the better the job will turn out to be. And again, keep it basically straight. We've got enough heat there to just give it another tickle down one of the other sides. Obviously the ideal thing here would be to have a striker, so you could hold the material with one hand and run your hot set down with the other hand while someone's giving it some with a small sledge. That would be perfect, but for us poor buggers working on our own. Now you can see there they're coming up nicely. I've got one more side to do, but this is actually quite a time consuming thing, so I think what I'll do is get it done and then come back to you once I've got it opened up. Right, you can see I've been through all four sides now and you can see how deep they were. The problem I had was that as you open one side up, it closed the other side up on the opposite side. So you just kept opening one up and closing the other. So now what I'm going to do is just go gently along with quite a cool heat and just open everything back up. I've got the depth, but as I say, as you got the depth, it just closed the opposite side up because it was pushing the sides open as you do this bit, and then when you turned it to one of the other sides, it closed it back up again. So now that would be closing up the opposite side, or the opposite corner. So what I'm doing now is just gently opening it back up again. I'm not hitting it too hard. And I'm just going to go around all four sides, just keep going around all four sides until the groove is even and fairly well open, and each one's about the same. And doing this also squares it back up again, funnily enough, because it does bulge it out a bit when you're doing your groove. Now if you can see there, that's nice deep wide groove, so I'm going to cool it off. Yeah, give it a bit of a cool and get it marked up. Right, you see better now how deep those grooves are. They're at least 1/4 inch deep, I would say. You've got to be careful you don't cut the corner off, but if you go too deep, but that's got to be at least 1/4 inch on each one, and that's perfect. That's about what you want. Now what you want to do is choose two corners. So we're going to have this side and then turn it completely over for the opposite side. They're the two sides you want, and we're going to mark them off roughly 3/8 inch all the way down. What you want to do is get squares. So if you've ended up with the corner being about 1/4 of an inch, then you'll go down 1/4 of an inch. But this has ended up that the sides are about 3/8 of an inch, so I'm marking them at about 3/8 of an inch, so that when it's all cut and opened up, they are actually squares rather than oblongs or whatever. Then we're just going to cut down, and this is why you want these grooves nice and wide. When you cut down, you're not going to damage each side with your cut. And then we're going to do exactly the same on this side, mark it up, and then cut it. So I'm going to go away and mark that up properly. Right, there we go. I've marked it up properly now. With a ruler, but still freehand. And you can see where we're going to cut. We're going to cut down each one of those and try not to catch the opposite corner. Time for a bit of hacksawing. I suppose you could do this with a disc cutter, a little cut-off saw, but you have to be very careful not to nick the sides. But I like, it's still pretty cold here, so I like to keep myself warm with a bit of hacksawing. And you see, just this is where you don't want to nick it, so you've got to be careful when you get down there. Just keep stopping and having a quick look, just to make sure you're not going to nick it into the corners. Plus a bit of hacksawing keeps you fit. If, like me, you're in your 50s and getting a bit lardy, a bit of hacksawing keeps a few pound off. There you go, again, just slow down towards the end. You see I've just nicked it there, just a tiny little nick. I've gone too far, I wasn't watching properly. But anyway, it's going to take me some time, so I'll get the rest of them done, show you when I've done it. Alright, that's all that side done. You can see there's a couple of little nicks I've made, little mistakes, if it'll focus. One or two, but I'm hoping that's the worst one there. Don't know what I was doing there, but I'm hoping it won't show too much in the finished article. So now what we've got to do is turn it over and do it all over again. As I say, there's nothing difficult about this project at all. It's all basic work, but it's just very time consuming. So now we turn it over, and the opposite side is marked up exactly the same. One thing they did say on the website that I got the information for was to bump up each end. And if you set this in a particular way in the vise, you can actually use the vise to stop yourself cutting down into that edge if you're clever. Of course I'm not going to bother, I'm just going to merrily carry on, but you can use the vise there as a guide. Anyway, as I was saying, yeah, they did say bump up each end so that when it's twisted the ends don't look thin, but you could do, but I couldn't be bothered. It was just an extra bit that I didn't really want to do. So we're going to get through all this lot. Again, I'll skip to that. As if by magic, we're on the last one. It certainly does keep you warm, a bit of hacksawing on a cold spring day. Can't believe it's the middle of April. Right, there you go. That's the lot done. Both sides. See, there's a couple of little nicks. That's really the worst one on that side there, but I think I'll get away with it. So the next thing is to warm her up and twist it. So let's get the fire alight, because I've let it go out. So the first thing we've got to do with a cold fire, dig out the clinker. The clinker is like all the impurities out the coal. If it was a wood fire, it'd be the ash. It's all the nasty bits, and I use it for filling in holes in the driveway. When I've got a bucket full, I just go and fill it in the potholes. Now under here, for those of you that watched my earlier video about my forge, you'll know I've got a T under here with a little cap on the bottom. I'll just take the cap off and let the other bits of clinker drop out. And this is where most people will get chopping up little bits of wood and bits of paper, rolling up bits of paper to start it with, but I'm going to cheat. I'm going to get the gas burner out, light it with my fire steel. And stick that in there. I can't be asked to keep cutting bits of wood, and besides I haven't got anywhere really to store much wood just for lighting the fire. This place is chock full of rubbish as it is, so I find it just as easy just to whack the gas burner in for a few seconds, get it going. You only need a little bit going to start with. And this fire it's coal powered, but what gives it the blow is I've got well, you can see on the right there's a 1/4 horsepower brushed motor, which means I can use variable rheostat on it, so I can adjust my blow up and down. So that's the next thing. Turn the fan on, turn it up quite high to get it going, and again, now this is going, I'm going to open the tap on the bottom. You can see the rheostat on the wall there, and push this bit of rod up there and just release all the last little bits of clinker. And once the bits of burning embers start dropping down, I know I've got the fire to the bottom of the actual forge, so it's clean and got fresh coals in there. And so you can see the rheostat up there on the left, top left. I twist that round and that gets it going. So we'll leave it to blow up. Right, I've left it going for a few minutes just to get it going. I'm just going to stack my coal up. I think we're getting a bit low on coal in the back there. There's a little heap at the back, but not much. I buy my coal in 20 kilo bags, pre-packed, and I store it in a 50-gallon plastic drum in the workshop. It just keeps it dry, it's out of the way, it's convenient, and then just chuck it on the fire as and when I need it. I like to keep a fair bit of coal on there, or coke as it is. I keep calling it coal, it's actually coke. Right, so here we are. We've got the bar, it's all been cut, all ready for twisting. You can't really see it very well. Got the light in the wrong direction, but you get the idea. And what I need to help me with this is this. I dug this out, it's rusty as hell, it's been kicking about in the workshop for yonks. It's just a couple of bits of 1/2 inch square and a couple of bits of 1/3" welded in the middle just to make a square, and that'll drop in there nicely. So once it's in the vise and I've got that on it, it's easy to twist if I don't keep dropping it. If you haven't got this, you could use a pair of Stilsons or a big adjustable spanner, but if you've got any scrap lying about, these are really dead handy to have. So I've had this years and it's been kicking about. It's the first time I've used it for a long while. Right, so we're going to get it warm. Now, as with all twists, you really need to get an even heat from one end to the other. Otherwise the twist will go everywhere. There's no point having it cold here, warm here and cold here. It just won't work. So you really need to get it evenly warm. So I'm going to put it in on quite a low heat actually, and keep turning it around, moving it about, making sure that the whole thing is thoroughly warm from one end to the other. Doesn't take long in this fire, but right, we've got it warm. Give it a quick wire brush, get some of the slag off it. Right, you can see that's pretty good. It's not 100%, but you'll never get it 100%. Well, you might in an oven type forge. Now, I'm not sure how far to twist this, so I'm just going to go slowly and sort of keep an eye on it and see where it looks nice. It's yeah, a bit more, I think. Having never done one of these before, I really have no idea how far to twist it, but I think that looks quite nice. That's sort of got the effect. You can see that the squares, the cubes have actually popped out there. That's why you need these grooves really deep, so that the squares actually pop out when you twist it. I think you can see there that's done what it's supposed to do. Got the effect. So what I'm going to do is just give it a clean up, cool her out, clean it up, and I'll show you it once it's clean. Right, here we are guys, cleaned up just with a wire brush, and I think you'll agree that's what was supposed to happen. Well, at least I hope it is. Not sure whether I really like it. It's unusual, definitely unusual. I wouldn't want to use it as a handle for anything. It's nice as an ornament, decoration, definitely uncomfortable as a handle, but probably quite nice in, say, a candlestick or something. You know, stood up on a desk with some feet and a sconce on top. Might be quite nice, quite unusual. Or a feature in something else, I don't know. But anyway, that's my interpretation of a cube or Rubik's twist. So thanks for watching. Hope that's explained it, and we'll catch you on the next one.